Markus Katteler is 49 and two-time world champion in pyrotechnics. As long as he can remember, his eyes have lit up when the topic is fire, sparks and pretty pictures in the sky. In the courtyard of his company Flash Art in Bielefeld, we burst into the testing of new flamethrowers that will soon shoot high columns of fire into Frankfurt's night sky over the River Main.
I would take this to Frankfurt because we've so much water and we're reducing the influence of the water on the jet by so much that we should at least consider it an option.
While the technicians are taking care of the flamethrowers, Markus Katteler is making us familiar with the secrets of his next show against the backdrop of Frankfurt's skyline. It will mark the highlight of the Flussfestmeile, the biggest multimedia spectacle Germany has ever seen. Katteler's show is ready, on the computer at least.
Here I can see when the fireworks are going off, whether they're synchronized and how long they stay alight for. As long as they're red, they're on. When they turn grey, they're gone.
Solange die rot sind, laufen die. Wenn die grau sind, sind die weg.
I'd like to see what I've done there. For me, that's a great visual animation that shows me what's happening. These launch 9 comets at the same time. That's a relatively complex and large image.
For the spectacle in Frankfurt, Katteler wants to use some new pyro effects, but to do that he has to fly to China. Hong Kong. Markus Katteler has been working with Glorious, a Chinese family-run business, for 10 years. Katteler has already worked out many a big show with its boss, Francis Wu. Today he's presenting Francis and his colleague Patrice with the concept for Frankfurt. He wants to know whether Glorious can create certain effects and deliver them on time.
Background picture from Frankfurt. 3 very huge screens. Inside, which breaks, is not bigger than 2 inches.
The Chinese partners are laid back. Everything Markus wants for Frankfurt, he will get. But to see what Glorious has on offer, we have to go to their factory in southern China. We're on our way to the province of Heppu, a good 400 kilometers west of Hong Kong. Even in the car, Francis Wu is gushing about his new bombs. That's what the pros call the things they shoot up into the air. There are 55 fireworks factories in the province of Heppu alone. We're the first foreign team to be allowed to film in such a facility. We have had to hand over cigarettes, lighters and matches at the gates. Francis has the ambition to run his pyrotechnics company in southern China in such a way that it conforms to Western safety regulations. It's a big complex with many small production units, enough lightning conductors to prevent the frequent tropical thunderstorms from igniting the gunpowder used in the factory, and with escape tunnels for the employees in case something does happen.
I don't want the cheapest product. I want a product that I can support, that wasn't produced under criminal conditions. I want a product that delivers the greatest possible safety as well as a very high quality. We've been working on this philosophy together for a very long time, and so I don't have a problem with the price being higher than the cheapest on the Chinese market.
Francis is proud of the good working conditions at Glorious. His 350 employees, most of whom are women, work a regulated 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. The most popular meeting place is the company canteen. According to Francis, professional fireworks are made by hand, and that requires a lot of skill and precision, and women just do that better than men. The starting material for all fireworks is the highly explosive gunpowder that was discovered in China 1,000 years ago. Pang is 34, and for many years now he has been a master in coating, the first step in the manufacture of bombs for rockets. Coating here means the coating of rice grains or cotton seeds. Pang puts them in a drum and mixes them by hand with moistened gunpowder. Thousands of small grey beads are created by the constant turning. These beads look like stars when they burn at great height.
The principle is that the star burns down from its whole surface. And if I want to do that nicely, meaning that all the hundreds of stars in one bomb change colour at the same time, then it's very important that they are made with precision and nothing gets added when it shouldn't, because then the colours don't change together and stay for different times. And as soon as that happens, a chrysanthemum or a peony is no longer round but oval, and 10 stars are still burning while the others have already gone out, and then that doesn't look good anymore.
In 2 half shells made of hard cardboard, 26-year-old Jun is lining the edge with the uniformly rolled beads. At the centre, she places a sack of gunpowder, which is ignited between heights of 50 and 250 metres, depending on the size of the bomb, blowing the burning beads apart in a symmetrical pattern. The beads are often rolled in 3 layers, while their colour as stars in the sky depends on the metal compounds and salts they are subsequently rolled in. Layer by layer, the beads burn from the outside in. The exact mix of the metals and salts is a strict company secret. In order to minimise danger for the workers, Francis has distributed production to many small half-open buildings.
What we're doing now is very important because it's crucial that the paper is applied in perfectly uniform layers so that when it explodes it doesn't just blow apart into 2 pieces but explodes equally all around. And this stability is produced by adding many layers of paper coated in glue. That's really fiddly work that takes a lot of experience. If you get it wrong, the result will be an egg instead of it being round. The regularity is very important.
Ming is 21 and has been working for Glorious for 2 years. She rolls 300 spherical bombs a day. During a test firing, we see just how precise she is. Lin is 20 and for more than 1 year now she has been a specialist for the final assembly of cylinder bombs. Markus Katteler will use many bombs of this type in his Frankfurt display. It's early afternoon. Ming has made 280 spheres. Another 20 and she's done for the day. Her colleagues are also putting the spheres and cylinder bombs out in the open to dry. From afar it looks like a display of uniformly coloured ornamental pumpkins, but it's actually almost the complete production output of a single day. 5,000 of them. The company delivers to countries around the world.
The nice thing about this drying process is that the stars and the bombs dry very slowly, which means no cracks form and we don't get a dry surface and a moist interior. This slow drying method makes the stars very stable. The disadvantage is that when it starts to rain, it really reduces production speed.
Francis has prepared a surprise. On wasteland on the outskirts of town, he ignites comets and the desired bombs with new colour combinations. Markus is thrilled. He wants to incorporate them into his show in Frankfurt. The night vision camera reveals something else. The childlike joy of 2 men playing with their favourite toy. With the transient spectacle still in mind, we're back in Hong Kong again. We can enjoy the sight of the city by night. Then we have to return to Germany. In the grounds of his company, Markus Katteler has had a bunker specially built. Together with his employee Steffi, he is inspecting the contents of his treasure chest. Katteler is relieved. The delivery for the show in Frankfurt has arrived from China. Pyrotechnics require precision work from start to finish, and strict rules have to be followed. We're told the red peonies, gold brocade willows, gold camaros and purple peonies feel best at 12 degrees and a relative humidity of 50%.
Here we have a small firepot that produces effects. The height of these effects ranges between 20 and 60 meters. The problem with a situation like we have in Frankfurt is that we have a river and people on both sides. That means we don't have a big safety zone anywhere. That's why we have to create an impressive picture with many small effects. And that means very elaborate triggers, a lot of rhythm and many effects that need to be set up there.
Katteler wants to fire bombs of different calibers into Frankfurt's night sky from 3,000 such tubes. The wiring and packaging requires the utmost concentration. Is this daily handling of such large quantities of explosives dangerous for the employees?
We have a very lightweight ceiling here. If something were to happen, the chances are very good that the effect would penetrate this ceiling and develop normally in the sky. That would mean no further damage down here, such as other fireworks going off. And even if something happens, not much pressure will develop, because it can escape in every direction, including upwards. In many of these explosive accidents, the pressure is the main cause of death, not burns or things like that. The pressure tears up your organs. So even if it looks relatively banal, it is a very well-planned workplace from a safety perspective.
Every bomb, every comet and everything else is given a code number for the transport to Frankfurt and for the firing facility, which is stored in the central computer. It is important that none of the effects are fired even a second too early or too late, because the fireworks are synchronized to music. The plan of the entire multimedia show is stored on this chip card. Fireworks, laser show, video projects on water screens, and artists with pyro effects. It's on exactly this spot here on the mine that the big show will take place in 5 days' time. Markus Katteler is discussing the exact positions of the firing ramps on the floating platforms with his head pyrotechnician, Flammer. The lorry with the fireworks, flamethrowers, alcohol canisters and ignition systems has arrived. Flash art employees are loading the pyrotechnics onto 3 pontoons that will be anchored on the other side of the shipping channel. It's getting windy. Uwe Bröskamp, the captain of the small motorboat towing the first pontoon into place, wants everyone to hurry. One flash art employee is measuring the exact distance to the riverbank. At the moment, it all still seems routine. But then the small motorboat loses the battle against the wind and the waves, a broken gearbox.
Bauenschlepper, Totalschaden. Okay.
In next to no time, the first helpers from the Lifeguard Association and the Fire Brigade are on the scene. Under no circumstances must the pontoon be allowed to drift into the shipping channel. But with great presence of mind, Uwe Bruskamp and his men have rammed 2 6-metre metal rods into the riverbed to anchor the floating platform.
We're outside of the shipping lane. We're not in anyone's way. We can stay here. We're not in the way of the shipping traffic.
Until a tug arrives, Flammer and the other flash art technicians are covering the firing ramps and fireworks with tarpaulins to prevent rain or water from the river ruining the pyrotechnics. The mishap with the motorboat didn't faze anyone, but now they have to work even faster, while remaining just as precise. It's the day of the dress rehearsal. It consists of a run-through in the afternoon and a trial show in the evening. The pyrotechnics are set up, says Markus Katteler. Now he wants to know what the Spheres, the balloon artists, are doing. He has already worked on a big show with these artists from Italy. That was in Macau. Now he's excited to see how the people of Frankfurt will react to the yellow sun and blue moon.
At the moment we have to fight the weather because we can only work up to certain wind speeds, and we're hoping it'll work tonight because they can cope with quite strong winds. But then it doesn't look anywhere near so good than it would if there were no wind. We have gusts of wind that go up to 5 or 6 meters per second, which is force 4. 30 kilometers per hour. That's just at the limit.
The second spectacular act is Jet Max from Berlin. They are jet skiers who will perform wild stunts on the Main at night with rocket launchers on their backs. The final arrangements are discussed.
Wir haben drüber gesprochen, es gibt einen Produktionsfunk, aber ich habe bis jetzt noch keinen. Okay, so klären, das ist nicht das Problem.
During the show, these comets and fire fountains will be ignited by a helper with a remote trigger from the riverbank. Finally, the time has come. Against the backdrop of the Manhattan skyline, the Spheres send their 2 rope artists up over the water, attached to helium balloons. At night, the balloons will be illuminated from the inside, and the 2 women will be wearing flowing gowns for their flight over the Main. Now it's time for the men from Jetmax and their 250 horsepower machines. Some onlookers are rendered speechless even without the fireworks as they watch them racing past each other at top speed. It's 10 o'clock at night. From their makeshift director's tent on the banks of the river, Markus Katteler and his team are starting a test run of the flamethrowers. Then the Flying Robots, a group of powered paragliders from Spain, perform some tricks over the Main. Up until the jet ski acrobats, everything goes according to plan. But suddenly the tent is filled with concern. One of the 3 30-meter water screens isn't working. They are supposed to act as projection surfaces for photographs, videos and lasers. Now the middle one has given up the ghost. Less than 24 hours remain to detect and repair the problem. It would be terrible if this fault couldn't be sorted out in time for the show tomorrow night. Markus Katteler remains calm. For him at the moment it's nothing more than a hole in a 200-meter wall of water.
This has stopped us all from doing our jobs. We probably have 10 hours of rehearsal time left, and so this is annoying. The nights are very short now, and that's why I'm going straight back to work. Bye.
At least the laser and video projections for the two outer screens are working flawlessly. But a long night of troubleshooting has begun for the technicians. At some point, they realise the control unit isn't working. They quickly have to get the parts and run new cables. It's Saturday, the day of the big show. Final inspections by Markus Katteler and Flamme.
This central water screen takes around 60 kilowatts, and the control unit crashed last night and had to be rebuilt. Some parts needed to be replaced to make it work again. That was a long night shift for the technicians, but everything's up and running again.
Suddenly everything goes very quickly. The spectacle is scheduled to begin in less than 2 hours. More than 300,000 visitors have come to the banks of the Main well in advance. Everyone in the director's tent is very tense. The countdown is running. 3, 2, 1, 0. Eight months of preparation went into the 40-minute show. It's an ancient Chinese craft merged with the ideas of a visionary pyrotechnician. More than 100 people have given their best. Everything worked the way it was supposed to. Now everyone is beaming.
I think people are pleased to experience that water is wet and fire is hot, particularly when they see it live. I think that's our big opportunity to reach people's hearts and produce emotions. I think in that regard, we're unbeatable compared with the other media.